inferior gaming, where our favorites probably didn't release in 2025, because we're slow that way. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Alan.
And we're back for our bonus Game of the Year, personal Game of the Year episode. Although, having said that, we haven't recorded since the announcements from the Game Award. Did you have a favorite thing that you were excited about? New announcements?
Oh, man. I don't even remember what was in that thing. I didn't watch it. I watched all the trailers out. I never watch it.
I started it like an hour and a half late so that I could skip over everything that I wasn't interested in, which was mostly when men were talking.
So like all of it.
Yeah. I don't like Jeff, whatever his last name is. I don't know. Something about him seems so fake to me. I don't believe that he's played more than 2 video games. I'm sure he has. I'm just saying I don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you ever watch like G4 or any of that stuff back in the day? Did you care about that?
No.
The cable channel?
No.
No? Okay. I watched it a lot. So like I'm familiar with all of those people because it felt like there just wasn't that stuff. Like you couldn't go online and talk to people about, like you could talk to people about a video game because that's like how the internet worked back then, but like not video games like in general, you know what I mean? Like, and it was like like a gaming magazine on TV and there was always game content on that channel. And I hated all of the hosts. They all seemed like scumbags. They all were like, the whole thing was gross. And I was like, well, this is all I got. So I guess these are my friends. Right. In exactly the way that you're talking about. Like Jeff Keighley, they all feel like daytime game show host personality type people to me.
So Jeff Keighley is Canadian, which I just double checked that and I thought he was. And I had it in my head that Spike TV was a Canadian channel because whatever you just said, G4, that was not a thing here. Okay. But when I just Wikipedia'd it, it doesn't look like it was Canadian. I think I made that one up. It looks like it was maybe owned by MTV. But
I think that's right. Yeah, it spun out. It did. I think that did buy G4 eventually, or when G4 collapsed, they captured a lot of those people.
Right.
Yeah.
But we had Spike TV here in Canada. We did not have G4. I have no idea what that is.
Okay. It's stuff like Attack of the Show and things like that.
The only thing I ever really remember watching on Spike TV is I think once a year they would do like 7 days of 24 hours of CSI.
Sure.
And that was really great if you were sick or just like not at work or school or whatever.
Super not a men's show, by the way.
I think that was
weird
Spike.
call.
I could be wrong.
No, I believe it because it's like, oh, it's science and it's crime. Men love science and logic. It's Jerry Bruckheimer. But it's like the fan base of that thing is women for sure. I love CSI. CSI is good. It's good.
You know, everybody watched the original CSI, like literally everybody.
Yeah, that's so funny. I haven't thought about Spike TV in a million years.
Yeah, me neither. Well, other than I just recently found out who and where Jeff Keighley came from. Anyways, having said that, I guess I'm most excited for the Star Wars one, which is hilarious because I haven't played the other Old Republic games yet. I own them. I just have to play them.
Who knows what that thing is? That was like a nothing. Like this is a game that might happen.
Yeah, I'm mostly. I guess excited isn't the word. Intrigued is really more the word about all of these sort of Mass Effect-like games that are coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can consider this one a Mass Effect-like game other than some of the same people from the original Knights of the Old Republic are involved.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so odd to me that Mass Effect had this good trilogy followed by a game that did not do well and that a lot of very vocal people hated. But now, for some reason, everybody is trying to recapture that
Mass Effect,
that Mass Effect feeling game. I don't know, the Mass Effect effect.
Right? Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But I mean, I liked the Mass Effect games, all 4 of them. But like BioWare's making Mass Effect 5, that Exodus game is happening, that game based on the books. Or is that the Exodus one? No. Shoot.
I don't know.
That sci-fi, those sci-fi books with the TV show and everything. The Expanse. There we go.
The Expanse. Yeah, I was right there with you. I knew what you were talking about.
That one's happening.
Got it
and
the
now
same time. Bungie's doing Marathon, which is another one of these type of things. It's like, ancient aliens out there. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just...
I mean, the only stuff that I saw there was stuff that I was already aware of and I'm excited for. There's like a game called Pragmata that looks super interesting. Like a third-person action game where you are like a big marine dude, but you have like a psychic toddler girl on your back. Who's creepy. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm into that. What's going on with that?
That looked like a subset of dad games, and you know how I feel about dad games.
Yeah, I agree, but creepy daughter is a good spin on that. Like
I see.
I'm like, okay, tell me about creepy daughter though. Because there's a chance that dad might not be, it might be like what's the of Mice and Men. It might be of a Mice and Men situation where she's the smart one and he's the body, but I don't know. I don't know a lot about that game. I've seen people play it and the gameplay looks really intriguing, where one side of your controller is one character and the other side of the controller is the other character, and you have to kind of synergize the way that you use the controller. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. That'll make it so I can't play any other game while I play this. So
that sounds like my nightmare.
Yeah. I've played other games like that. They're really good at making me not play other stuff. That's the only one that I can think of from the
I'm kind of intrigued by the new Divinity game. I haven't played any of the other ones. I have some in my Steam library.
That's the one that had the big statue out in the middle of the
desert, I really hated
too.
the trailer. It really was just like, let's make everybody feel gross and look at gross things. But apparently the very, very first Baldur's Gate 3 trailer was the same. And that's not how the game turned out at all. So I guess it's just a Larian thing where they're like, let's show people throwing up and then pigs eating it.
Right, yeah.
Just people in case normal people were intrigued. We got to turn them off, you know? But I don't know, like, I really feel like Baldur's Gate 3 just wasn't for me, but I don't know how much of that...
It's so weird. It feels like such a for you game, so
I know. Maybe I gotta try again and go into it with less expectations or lower expectations.
I need someone to buy it for me because I'm never gonna... It was on sale and it was like, it's like $50 and I'm like,
that's still...
I know that it's a premium experience and everything, but it's so much.
I think you just gotta wait. It'll go on cheaper.
It's been years since it came out. I don't know.
Yeah, you might have to wait a while, but
yeah.
It's only been 2 years, I think. I think it came out in 2023. I guess next week is going to be 2026. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. I'm intrigued to see what happens there, I guess. What I was going to say about why Baldur's Gate didn't feel like it was for me, I don't know if that was Larian or if that was like Wizards of the Coast that But what I mostly didn't like was how the group never felt like a group. It just felt like a bunch of people on their own quest who happened to share a camp.
I get that. Yeah, that would be annoying.
Yeah, so I didn't care about anybody's story because it never really seemed to come together. For me, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I got to the end of Act 2, I think, in that game. You
would think it would kind of cohere by that time somewhat.
Yeah. But maybe I just wasn't, maybe I was missing stuff. I don't know. I feel like that game is bigger than I certainly saw.
Yeah, I know that mechanically the big thing about the previous games to that was like really unique was the ability, and this kind of emulates the Dungeons and Dragons origins of it, that you can solve problems not just through combat, but you can like talk your way through stuff and you get the same amount of experience and things like that. So like the game doesn't punish you, quote unquote, for, not talking. Yeah. And so that was like a big part of why that franchise was so beloved. And the new one kept that in there. Like that was a core gameplay mechanic that people really, really care about. So I don't know that it was ever like a character driven. I never played those games though, so I don't know if it was
played the
that kind of
ones
thing.
either.
So fans of the franchise might be like, what are you talking about? Like, it was never, don't come to these games looking for that. But I don't know.
True. But whether or not it was supposed to be in the game or not, it's what I want from games.
It's what you were looking for, yeah.
It didn't hit me the way it seemed to have hit most other people, including people that I, respect their opinions and think that we have similar game opinions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I won Game of the Year and stuff. So, like, yeah. I'm
sure it's a great game.
I've always been interested. It's a fantasy world, and it looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, love to try it. Just very cheap when it comes to games. It's weird because I'll spend a lot of money on stuff, but if it's for me, and for whatever reason it's video games, I think this comes from like when I was younger, I would have just like, it's how you won't play mobile games. I would have just spent myself into poverty of buying video games, and I just still have this tight leash on myself, even though I can totally afford to buy games when they come out now. I just don't still.
I mean, that's probably good because you can get yourself into situations where
there's too many fucking games.
Yeah, like even if the money's fine, sometimes when so something that just happened, my sister and I finally like combined our Steam libraries. So I went from having like 30 games to 300.
Right.
And it's too much. And like a lot of it is just like games that I would never play, and that's fine. But I had to create like specifically like a maybe play these games next folder so that I could only look at like 15 at a time.
Sure. Yeah. I can't have all this because then you'll just spend all your gaming time looking at games that you're not playing.
Yeah, especially since so many of them are things that like I've never even heard of. So I would just click on it and be like, well, what's this? And then I'd read it and be like, nope. And then, oh, what's this? And then like, oh, no. Anyways, what have you been playing recently?
Oh, man. I got a bunch of, I mean, everything's on sale, for the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So I bought myself a bunch of fighting games, like a lot of fighting games, so many fighting games.
Nice.
I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I got like basically some, there's like a Capcom collection of older games, and there's actually like 2 different fighting game collections, but they bundled them together and then did the whole thing at a big reduced price. So I snagged that, and that's like, I don't know, it's like 15 games right there. I've played through most of them. And then I got Street Fighter 6, which is the latest in the Street Fighter games. I've played that a little bit, beat it a couple times on arcade run-throughs with different characters, but I'm nowhere near seeing what's going on with that game. Super interesting version of the franchise or evolution or whatever. I feel like I'm definitely, I mean, I played more of Persona since the last time we talked. I beat the gym teacher, but I haven't really gone back to that.
Gasp.
Oh yeah. And I got,
dare you.
yeah, I want to go back to it and see the kind of denouement of that whole thing, and then where it goes next. I kept going on 1000 times resist. I got to a weird, like, this is the end of the game, and I was like, come on, no, it's not. And I was right. It was like a fake out. And then I looked up. I was like, how much of this game is left? Because it feels like it could have been the ending, if you understand what I'm saying. And it was basically the halfway point, and I was like, oh man. So
ever since, like, when you brought that game up, I'd never even heard of it, but now I keep hearing about it everywhere.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and actually it was in my sister's Steam library, so I might give it a go.
There you go. It's just a book, essentially, where you run around and get into conversations. Not that it's nothing against it, but there's
I like
not
a
a
visual
whole lot
novel
going on. Yeah, that's what it is. And then I got games for Christmas. I haven't tried them all yet, but I did put in Astrobot, which I think won Game of the Year also.
Yeah, last year.
At the Game Awards. Yeah.
2024.
And that is delightful. It's amazing how great it is. When something is made for that PlayStation controller, you really appreciate how unique the DualSense controller is and all the things that it's like really capable of and how fun it is. It's just really, really great. The opening of that game is so fun that you're like, you see a PlayStation 5 as like, it's like the Star Wars shot, like you're looking down at a planet and then like a PlayStation 5 goes over the top of the screen, like the beginning of Star Wars.
Right.
And then there's like, you know, engine light coming out of the back of it, and it's like going through space really, really fast, and then this alien ship like crashes into it kind of, and this big monster that kind of reminds me of an Xbox pulls the PlayStation apart and like dumps out all the stuff inside of it all over the solar system, and then you have to go around and re-put the PlayStation 5 together. It's very, very fun. It's very cute.
I've heard really good things.
It's just delightful to play it.
Yeah, I've heard it's also really good if you've played a lot of the first-party Sony games.
There's a ton of references. Yeah. It's like if Mario 64 was like a fully updated 4K type of experience, and that, like I said, that controller is doing all kinds of really fun stuff. But yeah, I think that's everything that I've been doing. Do you get anything for Christmas?
I got Animal Crossing New Leaf for the 3DS.
Oh yeah, you said you knew that. Yeah.
Yes, which I have been playing, and I have no idea what I'm doing in that one because it's slightly different than New Horizons, which is the only one I've ever played.
Yep.
So that's fun. I'm enjoying it though. Don't like my villagers at the moment, but hopefully they can change. I don't know. Well, I don't like some of them. I mean, Cranston's there. Cranston's fine. What else have I been playing? Oh, so I played a visual novel, like detective game called Detective Instinct Farewell, My Beloved.
Oh.
Which I had heard about while listening to an episode of Into the Ether, another video game podcast, much more well-known than ours, obviously. And they were talking about it. And the way that they were talking about it, I sort of like left that episode thinking, I need to know what's happening. So I just went and bought it. It was on sale. You know, it's a small indie game, so I didn't mind supporting them, and it was really good. I liked it. If you like the visual novel mysteries, it was a good. I hope it's the beginning of a series and we get more with these characters.
I feel like that's the best version of a visual novel, is like where you're solving a mystery. I think that's like the best use of that whole thing.
There was a little bit that felt a little clunky, but mostly I really liked it. Mm-hmm. And I liked how the mystery kind of resolved itself. So you already beat this. You got it. Yes, I played the whole thing.
Rolled through it.
Yeah. I'm almost finished Trails in the Sky. I'm on the last chapter.
Of the first chapter, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The last act, if you want, whatever.
I got you.
There's a prologue and 4 chapters in the game, and I'm on chapter 4, and I did feel like chapter 3 was a huge slog. Okay. It was not my favorite. JRPG. I really slowed down in playing the game there. And I really feel like, I don't know, I don't get the feel from the game that this is aimed at younger people, but I get the feel from the way that the story is written that it is aimed at younger people, I guess. If that makes any sense.
I get what you mean.
It's just very obvious. Like, all of the reveals that I've had so far, I was just like, yeah, obviously.
This is not a reveal. Yeah.
Yep, that's the only thing that could have been. And maybe it's because it's a remake of an older game, and they didn't do much to update the story. They did a lot to update the gameplay. The gameplay is great. I have no complaints about that. But the way that the story is told, I'm just like, that was super advertised. Like, what are we doing here?
He's the bad guy? It's like, yeah, guys, you've not been playing the game.
Yeah. It's not even, I don't know.
Well, don't tell me, because I got it for Christmas too.
Yeah,
It's still,
no, I don't want to say anything else.
It's still wrapped in the cellophane, but I'll play it. I'll get there.
Yeah, the gameplay is great, and I am having fun. And one of the two main characters, there is some like subtlety going on there, and that's nice. But like nobody else has any subtlety.
Yeah.
So, and I was talking to my sister about this, and I was like, there has to be some happy medium where remakes are concerned. You know, somewhere between a word-for-word recreation and like whatever they've done with Final Fantasy VII. You know, there's got to be
like
something.
A whole new game.
Yeah, there's got to be something in the middle.
Don't do that.
Where it feels like a modern story game. Again, the gameplay is great. They did a really good job modernizing that. No complaints. Just the storytelling that I'm like, eh.
Their plan is to roll out every one of these things because the next one's already done.
Yes.
And
it's coming out later this year.
That's
I don't know about everyone. I don't know at what point the older ones became, because I know a lot of the battle system in this one is based on how they've done the newer games.
Right.
They're obviously not going to remake those. But I don't know how far
I see what you're saying. But yeah, just to catch, I think they want to catch people into the more modern games and be like, and to have the diehard fans buy the game again, you know, it kind of move. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna mess with the story too much because they want it to lead into the story that is more playable now.
Yeah,
in the way that it did then.
There's got to be a better way to do that, though. I feel because I don't know if in the original game there was voice acting, but this plays like there's not voice acting. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Even though there is, so it just feels like they're really advertising something because you're just reading text on a screen. Except in the new one, you're not. There's acting. There's people.
Right.
That's kind of how it feels to me. So like a lot of redundancy. But the gameplay great. I have no complaints there, and I like the story it's telling. I just think it's not doing the best job at telling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been playing another sort of visual novel called The Seance of Blake Manor, which is a mystery again, where a dude is invited to this hotel at Blake Manor, and somebody's missing, but allegedly they're missing from the hotel. But whoever like wrote you the letter to invite you there is like, but they haven't left the hotel.
Oh.
So you're there and you're doing some investigating at all these people, and there's going to be a seance in like 2 days. Creepy things are going on.
Classic Agatha Christie style.
But with, I think,
story.
actual ghosts. I think there are some actual ghost things happening. Yeah. And like I had a couple times where I just failed because and like it gives you a game over screen and you have to reload and do something different. One time I failed like 3 times in a row because I just kept doing the same thing, but I did not see another choice. And I was like, what is happening? And then I had to look it up and it was like, go out the window. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think.
I didn't know I could do that.
Didn't know I could do that. But when you get the fail screen, it says you were able to save 0 people from blah, 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 from whatever. And there were 0 survivors. And I was like, oh, okay. I see. That's cool. So I'm still working on that one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, the Animal Crossing update comes out in just over 2 weeks. And I want that real bad.
Yeah, it'll be here soon. Yeah, my daughter's all ready for that. She has like a 4 or 5-star island. I'm not sure. And she's now she's playing Pokemon Arceus. I think that's how you say it. I don't know.
Yes.
It's like the 3D open world Pokemon. And
I've heard good things about that one. If I was ever to play a Pokemon game, that's the one I would play.
Yeah, she's never played one before. And it's like very different. She told me, she's like, I want to play a Pokemon game, but I don't want it to be the kind of boring game that you play where you take turn and then they take turn and then you take turn. Not the boring kind, like a real game. That's what she told me. I was like, okay, I'll work on that. See if I can find a real game instead of a boring game. I'll see what I can do. That's how the next generation sees turn-based, Kaylin. They're not real.
I guess they didn't grow up with it. So let's get into why we're all here.
Yep.
our top games of 2025. Now, top games that we played in 2025.
Yep, that's the big caveat here.
Does not mean that they came out in 2025. Although looking at my list, I think only one did not come out in 2025.
Nice. I might be the opposite.
Yeah. Which I did not do on purpose. Although I guess of like the old games I played, it's hard to say. Like if I replayed Dragon Age Inquisition, this game, which is one of my favorite games ever, but I didn't put it on this list because I've replayed that game like 20 times.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm not against that though. That could happen if we make it another year and I replay something that I really love and I want to put it on, I would do that. You know what I mean? Like if I had more fun, if I enjoyed it more than all the other games, I would talk about it. That being said, like I really don't like the concept of game of the year stuff. Like I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts like you do.
Yeah.
And I think most podcasters and reviewers and stuff like that these days have their head on straight about this stuff. So I don't want to like belabor the point or anything, but like I don't like objective, takes on art and like this is good, that is bad is like exhausting to me. And I think is a big part of the reason why we are in the AI mire that we are, because we like very kind of clearly defined what a viable marketable product is with all of these ratings of good and bad and things like that. And so it's very like you can feed it to a computer and it can spit something out that everybody recognizes as like somewhat, like I recognize this as something that looks like something else that I think is good, if that makes sense. And I've never been, when it comes to art, I think they're all just like art is an experience and rating them is harmful to any experience. Like objectifying experiences is a bad idea. But that being said, like I do want to talk about video games, obviously, and that's why we have a podcast about video games. So like it's a good excuse to do it. But my list is like not ranked for that reason. Like I'm not like, and this one is the game of the year, because I just can't think about things that way. It just hurts me inside.
That's fair. Okay. Mine is sort of ranked. Like I have my number one game of the year. And then,
that's
like,
fine. I'm not like against, you're doing it wrong, Kaylee. Like you're a bad person. I'm not saying that.
I should say I have my favorite game of the year. And then like places 2 and 3, they could be swapped, whatever. And then places like 4 and 5 can be swapped. And I also kind of feel like a lot of them are very similar games. Actually, maybe not. Well, whatever. And putting that aside, I want to talk about my number one game first, opposite of everyone else doing this, probably, just because I think it's the most boring one.
Okay.
It's on both of our lists, obviously. It literally just won Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say, Expedition 33 was my favorite game of the year. We've talked about it a lot. I don't think we really need to belabor it.
It's great. I have pitched for the second season that we just do an episode about it and
a
really
deep dive
like
episode to really
talk
deep
about
into
it.
Yeah.
I did in the things like that I've played since we talked. I did go back since the Game Awards because they released the
new stuff. Yeah.
There's like a new area. I didn't really like do it though. I just kind of dipped my toe back in there. I was pleased to find that I could still do the combat. I almost texted you actually when I was playing Persona. I kept pushing buttons to do like the dodge or parry, and I was like, that's not this game. Don't stop doing that.
Amazing. I just ordered a physical copy of Expedition 33 because I originally played it on Game Pass, and I don't have Game Pass anymore. And but I wanted to own a physical copy because I love this game, and I ordered a special edition, so it'll be here sometime in January. Who knows when? And then I think I'm gonna replay the whole thing and play the new area too, because I won't still have the combat. I've definitely lost it.
I will. I want to minorly spoil a thing that I thought was very funny.
Okay.
Because like it's very clear like how self-conscious some of the elements of that area are. So it's like full of gestural NPCs, and you know how the Gestrels love to fight.
Yeah.
And so you can fight most of these guys, and they're all like weirdo challenge fights. But this one guy, he's like, come and fight me. You'll never be able to beat me. And his whole thing is that he has these crazy wind-ups where he goes like, oh, I'm going to hit you. And then he like pulls back at the last second, and he's like, wind up, wind up, wind up, wind up. And then he like goes to hit you again, but he doesn't hit you. And then he wind up again. He has like 4 wind-ups for 1 hit. And it's like, oh my God, you just like get so trigger happy on pulling that you're like, I just got to calm down and actually hit the dodge when it really happens. But it was just very, very funny to fight that guy because
they're taunting us.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
But obviously, like, I loved the combat. I loved the art design, the level design, great. And I loved the boss fights are so good in that game.
Yeah.
So many amazing boss fights. And I loved the story. And since we're planning to do a deep dive, I'm not going to go into it. And I think those who love Expedition 33, you know, we're going to do an episode on it. Great. And those who are sick of hearing about it don't want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But it was my #1 game of the year. And I feel like, I feel like you kind of felt this way too, or at least before you played it, you did, that it was kind of made for us, for people who had our similar gaming history to us.
Oh yeah. When I saw the previews for it, I was like, holy shit, like this could be the one, the holy grail that really fixes me. Yeah. And it didn't, but it was close.
Yeah. So that one's out of the way. That's my #1. Let's get into more interesting stuff though. Okay. And that was on your list too, right? Yeah,
I put my list in alphabetical order, which that was first because it's Claire Obscure, so C. Well, my next one alphabetically is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the second in the remake series of Final Fantasy VII. That game came out in February of 2024. I probably got it for my birthday or something like that. And then it took me until 2025 to beat it. I think I beat it in early 2025, if I remember correctly. And that game, I've heard a lot of people criticize that game, and I feel like those people did not play it as like, it's not a sequel, it's just a continuation of the previous game. It just reuses assets and the battle system and blah blah blah, and it's just like more maps, more content, more monsters, and like none of that criticism is correct. I feel it iterates on every part of the previous game. The combat is quite different. It has like a really fantastic parry system that you don't have to use if you don't want to, but is very rewarding if you're into that. The quest system, I would say, is perfect for what they're trying to do. The pacing of the story and world exploration was fantastic. I never felt rushed or bored with any area that I was in the entire game, and it pieced out more and more world building, both for like brand new players, but also like people who are into the entire lore like I am. There's like new stuff in there for you too. The mini games are great. There's brand new mini games that weren't in the original thing. There's like a whole new card game, which is a fabulous Final Fantasy card game, which they've always done good ones of those.
Yeah, the card games are always the best.
I loved it. It's part of the story. Like you have to play it at one point, but I played every last bit of it because it was so good. But it's totally optional after the story beat, and just the characterization and everything like that. The characters are evolved and pushed forward, and they did a better job of doing all that stuff too. And the look of it is fabulous. It went from, the PS4 to the PS5, and they took advantage of, everything that it had to offer. I feel so that like I did everything in this game, and I wasn't like trying to do everything, if that makes sense. I would just get to an area and it was just a delight to play it and to do like every last thing. There wasn't like a ton of stuff to do, but there was enough that you get to see all of an area, and then I would move on to the next area, and you were able to like, I didn't it wasn't like, oh, I can't go into that area because I don't have this thing yet and I have to go back. I was able to, like, you get to a place, you do it all, you go to the next place. And you could go back later if you felt like it. There's a fast travel system, or you can just walk through the world because it's a fully 3D interconnected world. So it was a delight. Like, it was so much better than the first game, I felt like, which I had a real hard time with and felt like a slog at different points, and some of the boss battles hung me up really, really hard. There was none of my experience was like that in this game. It was great.
That sounds great.
So I had a lot of fun. Yep.
At this point, I think I've said before, at this point I'm just going to wait for all three of them to be out and replay from the beginning. Why make myself wait? I
will enjoy replaying this one. I think about going back and replaying it all the time, actually, because I liked it so much.
That's good. I've heard really mixed things about it, so it's nice to hear a truly positive review.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of, like, videos and podcasts and stuff of people being like, this game is trash and it's ruining it. I'm like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it was really great.
All right, my number 5 game, although again, it can switch back and forth with my number 4 game. I'm going with Lake, which I've talked about on the podcast before, where you play a lady in 1986 who goes back to deliver mail for her dad in a small town while her dad's on vacation. And I just loved the story of reconnecting with people that she knew when she was young and deciding whether or not she wanted to stay in the town or go back to her big city job. And the game lets you do both, you know, or a secret third option, which I wasn't aware of, where you just drive off in a camper with your lesbian lover. You can go back to the city with her also, or you can stay and be with a guy, which is what I did, but only because I wanted her to stay in the small town. Anyways, maybe I just ruined it. But, like, obviously you're going to have that choice of staying or going. I really loved the characters, the story, the cats that you can pet, but mostly I loved driving around in that mail delivery van. It was so smooth. The gameplay was so great. I am shit at driving in video games. I mean, I can't drive in real life either, but I am shit at driving in video games. This one was so easy. It was so good. It just felt natural. You know, with the controls and stuff. I don't know how they did it. It just felt good. I would take the long drive around the lake just to drive in the van for a bit.
Oh, that's cool. Is that the core mechanic? Is
driving?
Yeah.
The driving around and delivering. Delivering even felt good. You know, like getting out and just walking up to a door. There was no running in the game. You could walk slightly faster. And at first I was like, come on, the way you always are in video games.
Yeah. What if the princess dies?
Yeah. But then I just got used to it, you know, and it was so good. And there is like an endless mode where you can just drive around delivering packages forever.
Nice.
And it is fun to just fire that up and do it and start a day with letters and boxes to give and stop by the cats to pet them.
Can you mess it up? Can you, like, deliver the wrong thing to somebody, or it just does it?
No, it doesn't let you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
You can, if you try to deliver to the wrong house, like to a house that doesn't have any mail, it just doesn't. The option doesn't come up.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great.
I had such a good time with it, and it was pretty short, but not like it didn't feel rushed. You know, it felt like it had a story to tell. It told it, and then it was done.
That's the best too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thing about indie games, I feel like. You just get this nice little experience, and then it's like, boom.
Yeah.
You don't have to raise chocobos. There's not like a card game. It's just like, just tell the story. Just do it.
I mean, I do love a card game. But sometimes I hate when they make it so that different areas have different rules, and then you can spread those rules, and then you end up spreading the bad rules.
Yeah. They avoided
Final Fantasy VIII is haunting me forever. But, you know.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, it was a great game. Highly recommend it. I have heard that the controls on Switch are real bad. So if you have a Switch, maybe look into that.
Oh, no. That's weird.
Yeah, because I played it with my controller on Steam, and it was so smooth and great. But so So I haven't tried it on Switch. It's just what I've heard, so just look into it. All right.
Yeah, my next alphabetical choice was Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, which did not come out this year. It came out in September of 2024.
I really thought you were going to say like 1997 or something.
No, well, yeah, there's like 7 games in this thing, and I'm not going to talk about them, but they are like from 1998 onward, basically, so they are quite old. But for one thing, if you were a fan of these games, like me and so many other geriatric people, these games were like lost to console gamers forever. Like, I think the last time a lot of these were released was on the Sega Saturn, which died, like an early death, and is difficult to get. And the whole thing is just like a beautifully preserved arcade gameplay experience, and it has tons of options, which is great. Like, you can crank up the difficulty or turn it down. You can, like, turn characters on or off, or different modes on or off. You can adjust the way that it looks, or have the key art up there or not up there, and all kinds. There's hundreds of musical files and art files and behind the scenes, like production art type stuff all in there to get unlocked. And then the net code for playing other people online is like rock solid. Like, no frame drops, no cheaters, no, like, at least on the console, as far as my experience has gone, you're not dealing with lag or any of that kind of stuff where all of a sudden your character is dead because the other guy has like a faster internet connection or something like that. Just like a buttery smooth experience all around for every single game. And just the games have been in limbo for so long because of the Disney acquisition, and there was, around the time that these came out, Marvel filed for bankruptcy, and like a lot of their IP, that got licensed out this way got wrapped up in that bankruptcy, and all kinds of people were paying into that. And like Sony owns Spider-Man, and Fox owns the Hulk, and this one owns that, and that one owns this, and it's like, how can these games ever come out again? Because it's got all those characters in there, along with all the different Capcom characters, and they figured out how to do it finally. And I was so grateful when I saw this game come. I couldn't believe it. It was just like, wow. And it's just like I said, it's just beautifully preserved. This kind of thing will never come around again because you can't like make these games anymore. Nobody, the gaming industry just doesn't have the knowledge to do sprite animations the way that these games have them. You know what I mean? Like, just all of that knowledge is gone, so you're never going to get anybody to rebuild these games. And so it's just great from a preservation standpoint too, that these exist in a modern console.
Were they released physically?
The original games?
Oh no, this one. The collection.
Oh yeah, there's physical discs. It's
Good.
downloadable. Yeah. So it exists in every context.
I also feel like insane crossovers like that don't really happen anymore.
Yeah,
like if Kingdom Hearts didn't already exist, it would never now.
Right. Yeah, it was a real situation. Like I said, Marvel went into bankruptcy, and it was a situation where Marvel was like, how can we make any money? Please, dear God, the ship is sinking. And they turned to Capcom, and they were like, you make a fighting game out of the X-Men? Sounds great. Make a fighting game out of all the other, whatever you want to do anything. Just please, God, give us licensing money. They made there's a great beat 'em up game included in this. That's from, it's just a single character, the Punisher, where he's going through and killing thousands of mobsters. And so there's even that in there. It's not all, like fighting characters against other fighting characters. There's like different games in there too. So it's just crazy that it exists at all.
Good,
and it was good. On top of it being, they're all great games. Like every one of those fighters is
properly fun and challenging and all that.
Yeah.
My next game, my number 4 game, is one that I just mentioned because I just played it a couple weeks ago. It's Detective Instinct Farewell My Beloved. It was so good.
Wow.
I really loved the mystery and the setting and the kind of theme of the game or not theme, but like how it brought in, modern ideas, but in kind of this, like I think the game takes place in modern day, but it feels like it's the 90s or the 80s.
Okay.
In just the way that you're on a train in the game, and that doesn't really, well, it's in Europe, but then like a lot of the plot is about the political situation in this fake European country that they made up for the game, and how there's like a split in the country, kind of East-West Germany style.
Yep.
And how the one side is doing really well and prospering, but then the other side has kind of closed itself off, and from the people who do get out, that things are not going well in there. But then, people in the doing well side don't really want these refugees who come out because they need help,
right. Sure.
So there's a lot about that, and there's just a lot about not, like at first there isn't a death, there's just a woman who's missing, and the character who had a conversation with her isn't even 100% sure that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
That because everybody you talk to at first is like, no, I've never seen this woman. There's nobody like that on this train. What are you talking about? And you only really, but like you just sort of refuse to give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you refuse to give up on her, really, on finding out what happened to her.
That's like my favorite kind of mystery story, where it escalates.
Yeah.
Like it starts off as like a little thing, and then you're like, oh, but it's actually that. Oh, but it's this, and oh, somebody got murdered.
Yeah.
And it's
like
yeah.
It started off like she just wanted to make, like the character just wanted to make sure that the missing woman was okay.
Right.
That's all. Like they were supposed to meet up for lunch, and then it didn't happen, and she wanted to make sure she was okay. That's all. And it just got weirder and more complicated and more people involved, and I just really liked that and there was kind of like a loss of innocence. Like you play as a dude who you get to name. I named my character Will, and now that's what I just think that character's name is.
Canonically, he's Will. Everybody knows that. If you play this game, name him Will. Don't fuck it up.
Exactly. And you guys are like college students, and you're on a research trip more or less with your professor, and there's just like really interesting dynamics in the relationship between the three of you, because the professor obviously likes her more than he likes you, and you were just kind of also there, and she was the better student, but and like she was your tutor for a while, but she sees something in you that seems really, anyway, and there's like a loss of innocence thing within these two as the tale goes on, and they learn more about the country than they ever did on their research trip, just from the dynamics of different people, and it's really, really good. That's
super cool.
Yeah.
Interpersonal dynamics that are not about the mystery.
Yeah, and I hope we get more with the two characters, Will and the girl whose name has left me. Could have looked it up.
You didn't name her.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
But like she actually has a canonical name. I think it was Emma.
Okay. All right. I guess it's my turn.
It is your turn.
Well, for my next game, it was the Insomniac version of Spider-Man 2, or I guess Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This is to distinguish it from the other game called Spider-Man 2 is what I'm trying to do here. It came out in October 2023. So a long time ago on the PlayStation 2, there was a game called Spider-Man 2, which was an adaptation of the movie Spider-Man 2. That is not this game.
Or I don't think anybody would have thought that it was.
You would be shocked.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You would be shocked. A lot of the complaints around this game are that it is not like the Spider-Man 2 from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this game. Obviously, it's on the list for that reason. I finished it again in 2025. I probably got it for Christmas or something last year.
That actually sounds right. I think you told me about that.
Yeah. It's so it's a direct sequel to the other Insomniac game, Spider-Man, which is a PlayStation exclusive since they own Insomniac now. And that game is great, although there were lots of things in terms of like the storytelling that I wasn't super into, and I feel like this game fixed all of that, and the storytelling is really great in this. There's a lot of complicated relationships that are it feels like a really good comic book story, I guess is the way that I would sum it up. That there are people who have complicated relationships and friendships and enemyships with each other, but then they also all have superhero personas, and that dynamic inverts some of those things or exacerbates them or underlines them in really crunchy good ways. This entire storyline doesn't care about the comic books or the movies or any of that stuff. It's doing like its own world. It's iterating on its previous story, and you know, like it acknowledges, you know, somewhere out there in the world is like Thor and Captain America and Iron Man and stuff, but they don't show up in the game at all. But yeah, I just think it's like top-notch comic book melodrama, but to me that's like a huge compliment. Like you did it. And that's what I want a comic book game to be. It's like what this story is. There's like Peter Parker's best friend was in a coma for the entire first game, and he like came out of the coma at the end of the game, and then this game picks up and their friendship picks back up. But when he went into the coma, Peter was not Spider-Man, and now he is Spider-Man. And like, does he tell his friend his secret? The reason his friend is not in a coma anymore is because he has the Venom symbiote suit it cured his incurable disease. And so like his best friend is secretly Venom, who is like a Spider-Man villain.
Right.
But they love each other, you know, and both of them, when they were in high school, were in love with the same girl who is Peter's current girlfriend, and she kind of still has a yen for the other guy. And so there's like a love triangle happening. But then also they call it Spider-Man 2 because there are two Spider-Men in this game. There's Peter Parker and there's Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man, who's a young guy from Brooklyn who's still in high school and doing all the Spider-Man things of trying to graduate and get into college, but also fight crime and, you know, take care of his mom after the death of his father in the previous game, and all of that drama, and, you know, existential freakouts about who am I really if I'm these two people, and being mentored by Peter Parker, who is freaking out because he might lose his entire life to his best friend who he loves. And it's just great. It's great. Like, all of that stuff is so good.
Existential freak out.
It's so good
in a video game.
The story is just all really great, but then on top of that, I feel like the gameplay, the traversal around the city is better than it was in the first one. The way that your quests are organized is better. The fighting is better, you know, with huge groups of enemies, and it's just all improved over the first game. The map is bigger. They had like a huge map of Manhattan, which is like bustling with people and cars, and there's people on rooftops. There's crime happening everywhere. You can like go anywhere and like stop low-level crime, like a bank robbery, or they're holding up a 7-Eleven, or somebody's getting mugged on a rooftop. And you just constantly, like, that really, to me, feels like Spider-Man.
Right.
You just like see something and you're like, oh shit, I was on my way to, you know, a date with Mary Jane, but I gotta stop this lady's getting mugged. Like, I gotta stop that. So it just has like this authentic feeling experience to the comic book character who I love so much, and it's just like really what I want for an adaptation of the character. So it's just a really fantastic comic book experience. I think I haven't ever played anything as good as Spider-Man 2 as far as that goes.
I've heard really good things about it. Yeah.
It's really good. So I just think it's great. So they made a fully realized Manhattan in the first game, and now in the second game, it has like, you can go to Queens where Peter lives. You can like leave Manhattan Island basically, and in a way that you're not like selecting on a menu to go to Queens or wherever whatever borough you're going to. You can like web swing there.
So it's like Manhattan open world.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that was like one of the, like you were saying about Lake, where you would just like want to drive. I sit like right in front of the TV like a kid on Saturday morning and have the web swinging through Manhattan. Just just doing that for like an hour is great. A really great experience.
I figure if you're making a Spider-Man game, like, you know that's the one thing you gotta get.
Yep.
Like you can fumble a couple really of other things in a Spider-Man game, but you cannot fumble the web slinging. That's the number one thing people are there, or not like that they're there for, but that they're going to be looking for.
It really helps to sell the unique thing about Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you really feel like Spider-Man when you're doing that. I know I played the old PlayStation 2 Spider-Man 2 game, and a lot of people ever since that game came out have complained because that game has what, I can't remember the guy's name who programmed it, but this programmer actually put in realistic physics. So you can't just like throw up a web and swing. You have to, like, if you tag the corner of a building, you can kind of like sweep around the edge and kind of fire off into the, adjacent perpendicular street, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can like go underneath an overpass and kind of swing really low and then come up and do crazy stuff like that. Or you can like web up like a stoplight and then just like swing around and around and around like you're reeling yourself into it until you pop onto the top. That's all stuff that you could do on this PS2 game, and nobody ever did that again because the physics-based part of it just like ate up the memory, and it was like so hard for anybody to deal with that and then have like a good realistic world that didn't look like dog shit. And this game reproduced that again, so they were able to have like the realistic physics in it. The first one didn't have that. It just had like whatever, like the web is over there, you can't really see what it attached to, don't worry about it, kind of a thing. So they did all of it, I feel like. And people who complain about this game is like, what do you want? Like, it's just be happy. Like, it's amazing. Calm down.
I feel like that's the thing a lot of gamers need, is to just calm down.
Yeah.
I realize that the way we've done this, I got the first game and I'm going to get the last, but that's fine. My next one, and again, these next two games could be swapped around in my list, but my next one is Blueprints.
Okay.
I think that's
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I think that's on a lot of people's lists, or people who do indie gaming anyways, this year. I thought the art style... Indie game. Yeah, well, sort of.
Oh, man.
I just thought the art style was great. The puzzles, for the most part, were really good and so satisfying when you got it. Like, I remember the first one that I like figured out 100% on my own, and that euphoric feeling afterwards of being like, fuck yes. And it had a great reward for finishing the puzzle. And then as you play and you get better at drawing the rooms in the right way, and you just get better at understanding the gameplay and all that sort of thing. It was so good. And when I realized that I was going to do it and I was going to get to room 46, because the time that it happened for me, I really at first did not think it was going to happen, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
No, yeah, it totally does.
I thought I was going to have to come back from a different direction to get into the place where I was. Anyways, I didn't think it was going to happen that day. And then it did. And I was like, oh, and I felt so good. Yeah, it's just a great game. And I loved the sort of subtle political story in the background. Even if you don't play this game, if you're kind of interested in what was happening, I do recommend looking up like a lore video on YouTube, just to, not to like solve the puzzles for you, but just to tell you the story. It's so interesting how much was going on in the background of that game.
It's crazy. Yeah. And the whole like color scheme of things too, the
yes,
different colors of different countries. And
yes, I have heard that the creator is working on a colorblind mode, because right now if you're colorblind you just cannot play this game.
Yeah, for the late game stuff that's I
even
guess
the
that's
early
true because
stuff,
because it's blue and red, which is the same.
It's blue and red, and like so many of the puzzles are color based.
That's true. Yeah.
So you just cannot play if you're colorblind. But I don't even know how you would do a colorblind mode of this game, because so much of it is color based.
You'd have to replace it with textures or something.
Yeah, something. But I know it's being worked on. It's just really good. It's not, on the surface, I did not think I would enjoy this game, and if it had not been on Game Pass, I probably wouldn't have tried it. Yeah. But then I just loved it. It was, the parts that weren't reliant upon my own brain felt so smooth and easy, you know?
Yeah, it's I didn't even really clock to it at first that like the whole, like, everything is blue, and of course that's like a pun on blueprints for a house.
Yeah.
But the red stuff and how political it is, at least in America, there's the two parties are blue and red.
We have more than two parties, but like our two main parties here are blue and red also, but it's the reverse of America.
Okay. And in the game, red represents like lies and politically is kind of fascist, and then the blue is like truth and maybe like a, you know, we hopefully this comes back one day kind of a feeling politically.
Yeah.
And
there's a little bit of like a historical right.
Yeah, they're the ones who should be in charge, but it got stolen away from them, kind of a thing. Which was an interesting, like, I don't know if that's on purpose, but it had like a resonance with the moment that I was like, huh.
I genuinely don't know if the game creator is American.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know anything about the man.
Yeah.
Other than I know somebody from the Besties interviewed him, and I remember they were talking about it, and it sort of just sounded like the type of puzzles that are in the game, that's just the way he lives his life.
Oh man.
Like he just not the puzzles, but like, I don't even know how to explain it. Listen to the episode from the Besties. I haven't re-listened to it in a while, but you know, he makes connections with years and with things like that in his life, not with necessarily things that he's personally into, if that makes any sort of sense.
No, that does make sense. Yeah. I think that's really great too, because it goes back to the kind of thing that I talked about earlier in the season of art and self-expression, and
yeah.
So the game is like a piece of who he is on the inside. Yeah.
It sort of felt like this is the only game he could have ever made.
Right. Yeah.
Not to say that he can't do more, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
but it's a piece of them, which is very cool.
And it's also just a lot of fun when you're not like struggling with a fucking math puzzle.
Yeah.
And you keep coming up with -10, but there's no negatives on a dartboard, so it can't be -10.
That game had, I gave up on it. I didn't even get into the room because I just realized that it was like, hey, the reward for solving a puzzle is more puzzles, and I was like, oh man. Yeah, what I really want to know is just about the world. I would just.
Oh yeah,
that's
so
what
you
I did.
Too should watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah, I have. I've watched all of them.
Good.
I was just like, wow, this is so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Just wish there was like any way to. I'm just too dumb to access any of it.
I don't think it's about dumb. Most of the puzzles are one of two things, right? Like a math puzzle, which is straightforward. He just put it in such a way that that it's not straightforward.
Yeah.
Because I never knew what I was supposed to square, like what number that square went with. Anyways, doesn't matter. But the other puzzles, the logic ones, you gotta like turn your brain a certain way, and some people just don't have that way in their brain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I could do it for some of the puzzles or for some of the like connections you were supposed to make, but I could not do it for all of them. And sometimes I would, after struggling with one for a while, I would look it up and be like, oh, I never would have got that. I feel okay about looking that up. And like the game doesn't have a hint system, but one of the wikis does, which I really appreciated it.
Oh, that's great.
So you could like unveil just a hint, and then if you needed more, you could do some more hints. But sometimes just having a hint to go in one direction rather than the one that I was like full steam ahead going in was like, no, go over here. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
That's the thing about sometimes a puzzle game. You can only see one thing and you're beating your head against the wall, and it's like that was never the direction. Yeah, but some things, like I played that game and I kept for example, like there's a kind of a church room that you can get.
Yeah.
And I would get that one over and over. And early on, I was like I was like, okay, I've played puzzle games. I know I should be paying attention to details. And each one of these, it's like the Stations of the Cross, like they're numbered the same way that it would be in a church, a Catholic church. They have Stations of the Cross numbered, but they're not Stations of the Cross. They're like these weird archetypal characters or something. Yep. I don't know. And so I wrote all of them down in order, and then later I got into a place and I saw statues that looked exactly like those things, and I was like, oh, I know what to do. And, I pulled them in order, and the thing happened, and I was like, I am a genius.
Yes. When it works, it's so good.
It was really good. Yeah. So it's nice that you pay attention to details and you get rewarded in that game. So it's a lot of fun. Really pretty too, for it's stylized art and everything, and
I really loved the style. And although I would forget that I was this kid, and whenever the camera would pull back and show you the kid, I'd be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I recognize his hands. Yeah. I guess for my last game in alphabetical order is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
This is hilarious to me because I feel like you were telling me about this every week while you were playing it, and never once did it sound like you thought well of this game.
Oh, really? I was probably beating my head against, especially the end. I was having a hard time with it.
It wasn't even the gameplay. It was just and then they gave you this boss. That makes no sense. And then they made this decision and that makes no sense. But maybe
I don't remember that.
That's what makes the game good to you, that you could complain about it.
Maybe. Yeah. There's some decisions, especially around who was supposed to be the boss in this game that I was like, what are you doing? But then once the whole game happened, I was like, oh, you knew that was not good. It was, I misjudged you. I thought you didn't understand what you were doing, but you did. So this was made by Respawn Entertainment. It came out in April of 2023. And I think I played this early on, I think in 2024, but I noped out of it because it was glitching so hard that it kept crashing my Xbox. And it just had lots of problems. And I came back to it in 2025. I don't even know why. I think it was probably because I finished Final Fantasy VII. And I was just like, okay, what do I play now? And I gave this a try and updated it, uninstalled it, reinstalled it, and picked up where I left off. And it played beautifully after that. So I guess they fixed everything that was wrong after more than a year. Gameplay wise, and I was able to jump back in, and it gameplay wise, it was great. I played the first game, which I'm not remembering the name of, but it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I think is the name of it. And so this one picks up with the same main character, Cal Kestis, and it takes place between the end of the prequels and the beginning of A New Hope. So it's that period of time where what's that movie about the Death Star plans? Yeah, Rogue One.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite Star Wars movie.
It's pretty good.
I like that.
So this character was a Padawan, and his master was killed in the prequels and he got away, and then he kind of like, you know, gives up on the Force because he needs to survive.
That seems
and
fair.
He just hides and grows up and doesn't know what to do. And in the first game, all the stuff happens where he has to reckon with his identity, and that game's pretty good. And then they have like a gap of time, I think it's like 5 years or something between the first game and this game, and then when it picks up, he is a rebel operative of the guy in Rogue One, Saw Gerrera.
Okay, yeah.
Who is like the guy who has like the breather machine and is like the more hardcore guy. Yeah, the scary guy. He's like this guy's boss. And you start off on Coruscant, and it's like you've been arrested and you're gonna go to like Darth Vader is gonna kill you and stuff, and you're like, oh shit, like this is a hard way to start the game off. But of course it's like all part of the plan. You go in there to get plans and so like it's a cool Star Wars heisty mission that kicks things off, and then you're off to the races, and you go to your home planet, which is called Kobo, I think is made up for this game. And then you meet like all your old friends from the previous game, and you got some new friends. You accidentally unfreeze a guy who's been frozen for like 2,000 years. This is like a Force guy. Yeah, it happens sometimes. There's a great droid in this from 2,000 years ago called ZN-A4, who's just a weirdo C-3PO type of, but he looks like very 1930s vintage, if that makes, I don't know how to explain it, like no, Rosie from the Jetsons or something, you know, like it just looks different than the regular Star Wars droids, which was a cool choice. He's such a little weirdo, and he's so like, I can't believe 2,000 years have passed, everything is so weird now. He's a great little character. And yeah, I thought that guy, I mean, they set him up as like the primary antagonist, the Jedi guy from 2,000 years ago, and I mean, he is a big problem, but I was like, this is not cool. But they understand that it's not cool, and that's part of the story. I think the story is really good. The friendships are great. It's a really good Star Wars story, and it hits all of those, like what you're saying, like Rogue One. Like you meet a lot of Rogue One characters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you get like, you go to that planet Jeddah where he is on that planet in that movie, where all the Jedi statues are like falling over and stuff. You find out why that happened, and you fight Darth Vader, of course, and all the characters you want to see are in it. Yeah, and then there's a big like twist at the end, which was really fantastic, I thought, and I really felt like the ending landed fantastically, and there was like a whole thing of like these two characters who have the main character and then a kind of love interest character who they did a good job with that love story, explaining to this orphan, like, here, you know, like you could hold anger in your heart about what happened to you, or you could hold love in your heart, in a really good Star Warsy way that really, like, I think understood the messages that were in that story and didn't. I feel like when some people take the stories from the prequel era type things, they're like, the Jedi didn't love anybody. And it was like, no, it was kind of like telling you that that's not a good way to live. You know what I mean? Like, look at all the bad things that happened when you tell people not to fall in love, and to be ashamed of love. Look at how Luke lived his life and how much better that turned out. You're supposed to like do a little bit of analysis and thinking, I think. And this game does that. It really like synthesizes the lessons the characters have lived through, and then they try to pass on to this child in a way that was really, really satisfying. And I'm very interested in the third game. Hopefully they make that game. But it was a great experience. I have fond memories of it, so I don't remember you like you're like, this game sucks, I hate it.
It wasn't that. You were just like, I don't understand why they've decided to do this. Why is it so important that it's canon? Why
Oh yeah,
wouldn't they
that's
just
all really
know
dumb. I do still feel that way. It is stupid. This game is canon. I don't understand that. That's really dumb.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
don't
that's
get
all
that
I
at
ever
all.
heard about from you. was-
It's really stupid.
now this has happened, which means that's canon, which makes no sense.
Yeah, it really does not. It does not need to be canon. I don't understand why Disney cares about that at all. It's like, this video game, it needs to count. And it's like, it really doesn't. I'm sure there's nerds out there who care about that, but I love Star Wars. Like, I consume all the Star Wars. Like, any fucking thing you put Star Wars on, I'm there for it. And I do not be like, in a movie, be like, this contradicts the adventures of Cal Kestis in the video game. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, give me a break. It's just a great, story where I have a controller in my hand and I can double jump. I don't need to know why, Kylo Ren can't do a double jump. Why can't he double jump too? Like, it's never even occurs to me. It does not need to be canon. Yeah, you're wrong about that, Disney. Like, fuck right off for canon. That's bad. But I'm glad they made that game.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So my number 2 game, I went with Avowed.
Oh, okay.
I did really love Avowed. It was kind of a small version of an open world game. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, it just wasn't overwhelming. It was do the side quest, do the plot, move on. And I really liked that. I loved the lore. I loved the look of the game. It was so pretty. I loved the setup that there was kind of like 4 acts in the 4 different areas on the island that you were on. And each act kind of ended with one big choice that really affected that area.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the choices in that game were a bitch.
You feel like they had real consequence? Like, you make
they
the
do,
choice
yeah.
and-
Like, people hate
That's
you
cool.
sometimes
That's cool.
after your choices. Yeah, I loved the lore. I loved the world. I've talked about that before. I love the Pillars of Eternity world. And the sort of the gods and stuff that they've set up in that world are really interesting. And I love when deities are fallible,
Yep. Yeah, give me that forever. It's good.
And
Zeus and Odin and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. It did this really cool thing where you would go to certain areas and have flashbacks to very in the past, like hundreds, if not thousands of years in the past that had happened on this island. But you as the player would get to make choices for how things turned out while you were, you would choose what you remembered what you quote unquote remembered happening.
Yep.
And then that would be how it actually happened. And that was really cool. I liked those instances. They were fun.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
So when I look at that game, it's one of those that I wish I had played it. And I can still, it's on Game Pass. So
I think it's still on Game Pass.
It'll be there forever because they own it. So
yeah.
I'm like, it seems like on the one hand it's smaller than like an Elder Scrolls game, but
way smaller, yeah.
Maybe bigger than The Witcher. I would try to place the size of the world, or maybe The Witcher is bigger than
I would say The
Scrolls
Witcher is bigger. The Witcher is pretty big. Witcher 3, anyways.
That's what I mean.
It's been a long time since I played Witcher 2, but I would almost say it had more in common with the story structure of Witcher 2.
Okay.
But I might be remembering Witcher 2 completely incorrectly. It's been a long time since I played that. And I only played
that
it once.
game. Yeah.
Just in that, you show up to an area, you do some stuff, and then you kind of move on.
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of older Witcher. It's definitely not an Elder Scrolls-like. I feel like that advertising, we've talked about this on a previous episode, kind of did it poorly. Do not go into this expecting anything like that. That's not what this is. It's just like a short, it's not 100 hours, you know what I mean? It's more like 40, 50 hours.
Okay.
So not long, but not short.
Yep.
And I think the main plot is pretty succinct, but there's a good amount of side stuff and treasure hunting that you can go on. And I found the battle system really fun. And it's versatile. Like, you can do the up close sword fighting, or you can do magic, or there's a bow and arrow, or you can have guns.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the characters. I liked how slowly you kind of built your party, and liked the acting. The acting was really great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say, because I talked about it before on one of our episodes.
But it was a really good experience for the year for you.
Yeah,
so.
I really vividly recall getting to the end of, was it Act 2 or Act 3? I don't remember now. And having this one choice where you had to side with a character. We didn't have to side. I decided that the lesser of the two evils was siding with the character that I was most looking forward to killing.
Okay.
Like, oh God, I wanted her dead so bad. And I was like, can we just fight? Can we please just fight? I want to kill you. And the game doesn't let you kill her or decide not to kill her until later. And, it felt so good when I did kill her. And B, having to side with her on that one choice, I was just like, but I want you dead.
That's kind of fun, though, that the story could kind of stretch you in that way, where you're like, well, I got to go this way. I can't. As bad as this is, it's even worse over here.
Yeah. And then a lot of people hate you for making that choice. You're like, look, none of the choices were good. All right. But of course, you never have a chance to explain. You just gotta deal.
That's good too, to have like that compressed experience, but also you could go back and play it again and make different choices.
Yes.
Kind of experience that too.
I also really liked how like you could feel the lore from the first two Pillars of Eternity games there in the background, but you absolutely did not need them to enjoy the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they give you a little bit, a different level of understanding what's going on, especially with the gods. But it doesn't really change the story at all, and you can 100% know exactly what's happening in this game without having played the first two or without having any knowledge of the world. I think they did a really good job at that.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. And I'm just really impressed with Obsidian. They've released like 3 games this year.
That's true. Yeah.
Pretty big games. Very different games also.
That Microsoft money is working out.
But that's not always the case, right? Like, case in point, BioWare.
Yeah, it's too bad that Microsoft is like going down in flames from self-inflicted wounds, but whatever. I guess
like so is everybody
doing it.
Or everybody of that size.
Yeah.
In gaming.
Yeah. Somehow we can't achieve 90% profit ratios on our games. Like, we're all failures. We're only making billions.
Do you think, this is completely unrelated to everything we've been talking about, I'm just curious where you feel. Do you think GTA 6 is a game that really exists and will be coming out at some point? Because I don't believe them.
I think they've done a lot of work to it. I think it will come out eventually.
Do you think it'll be good?
I think it'll be super busted.
Yeah.
The online stuff will be the main thing about it, and it won't work at all. And people will buy it anyway.
Yeah. I've never played a GTA game, so obviously I don't have. Yes, really?
Wow.
When would I have? I don't like driving games.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You got a point.
I've never played one, so I have no, horse in the race.
Sure.
Other than I like the idea of the studio completely failing.
They all seem like dirtbags.
Yeah, that's what I mean. A part of me really does want this to come out and be a good game, and for all the people who are chomping at the bit to have a great experience playing it, but also I feel like maybe the games industry needs it to fail. Maybe. Just needs it to blow up and have people rethink what the fuck they're doing,
Yeah. I played I'm old. I played Grand Theft Auto when it came out, Grand Theft Auto 2, which are very different games from when it goes to Grand Theft Auto 3. And then, I've played 3 and 4. I never played 5 because I had kids and I didn't want that like in the house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand. I will say I probably have played like 20 minutes at a friend's house or something. I don't specifically remember.
Like GTA 3 or
Yeah,
something like
or,
that. I mean, there's other games than 3 and 4. Like, there are other games came out, and I played all those too. But
yeah, who knows? I'm sure I knew somebody who owned it and have probably, punched a cop or whatever.
Sure. I mean, that's what's fun about them is that you can transgress. I think it's funny because the developer of the first 2 games and 3 had a fantastic game system figured out, and they threw it away. And I think those games have gotten progressively worse because of the lack of structure that exists. So like in the first game or second game, everything that you do is kind of like what you were saying for Avowed. Mm-hmm. There's like 4 factions always in the city. So you have like the police, and then like organized crime, and then like street level drug dealers or whatever. All these different factions against each other. Maybe the Yakuza or something like that is in there too. And whatever you do pisses off the other 3. You know what I mean? And so It's like always a balancing act of like, what choice am I going to make? And then where am I going to run away from the other factions into the territory of this person, like in order to stay safe. But the more you become in someone's pocket, like the more everyone else hates you and the fewer choices you can make. And so like, it's just very, very dynamic for like a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 game. And all of that just gets thrown out the window after part 3. And those games become like a gelatinous crime simulator eventually that I don't find very fun. It's just kind of like a psychotic way to play out bad fantasies, it feels like, by the time you get into 5. So yeah, I'm kind of on board. Like I think there's something depraved about the promise of 6 that I just find a little bit distasteful. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm not somebody who thinks that like violence in video games is wrong or anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. I just think the lack of like you make a depraved choice in the old one, and there was real consequences.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it had heft, and now there's just like a carefree, like, I just blew that hooker away and took all of her money.
You do kind of
you know
sound
what
like
I mean?
The old man, like things were better when I was young. But
yeah, I guess.
I understand what you mean. My thing about specifically kind of wanting GTA 6 to fail in some big disastrous way, or just never ever happen, is because the clientele, the majority of the clientele for GTA games are who the upper people in gaming think are the only gamers who spend money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I want to see that stereotypical audience just fail.
Yep.
Somehow, or be failed by the gaming industry, and to see what happens. Like everybody talking about how we're on the cusp of the end of the gaming industry. We're not, because indie games are a thing. It's just these huge companies have gone crazy with money.
Yeah, they want the number to go up forever, and the market has limits. And
I think it would be good in the long run. Obviously, shitty for people who would lose their jobs and stuff. But for the industry as a whole, I think it would be good in the long run for them all to implode. Yeah,
I guess that's kind of what I mean in terms of the structure. I don't think that there's not like a general large audience for this gelatinous crime simulator. You know what I mean? That has no heft. It's just like, you do that for 5 minutes. Okay, I get it. And like, it's going to be fun to a certain kind of person, but it's not going to have the broad appeal, I think, of like Grand Theft Auto 3 did, where that game just exploded on the PlayStation 2 because it had like this underlying, there was all this chaos on the surface, but it had a deep underlying structure to it that gave an actual satisfying experience.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, that I think they've made a promise that's way too big to their shareholders and everybody else, that just like no game can deliver what they need it to deliver.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm interested not to play it, but to see what happens there.
Yeah. I probably won't play it either. Going into the next year,
if we're not looking forward to GTA 6, what are we looking forward to?
It would be hilarious if that game came out and it won't.
And was just amazing.
Yeah. like this actually did. I played this game and it solved. I'm now debt free because I played it, and all my past trauma is gone. And I mean, the things that I'm looking at, I think some of them would surprise you. And they're older games. I'm not really like looking forward to anything new coming out. Probably one that I would really like to try, and it keeps getting lower and lower. I'll probably pick it up eventually. I don't know when I'll have time is the problem. But I'd like to try the game Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
From the Witcher people.
CD Projekt Red, yep. That game's only first person, so I have no real interest in playing it.
I think that's right. And I'd like to. I've played all the Assassin's Creed games. I want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows, which came out this year.
Yep.
That will eventually fall onto Game Pass. That's just a waiting game. I'm not itching to play it though, so it's okay. But it's set in Japan, which is interesting.
Yep.
It adapts a real life samurai who was a black guy.
Yep.
So that's a cool idea, kind of. It's got a little bit weird to have a historical figure that is playable who was an assassin. I think that's a little weird, but whatever. I'm really interested in the Halo project coming out on PlayStation. I'm very curious about that and how that whole thing lands. There's a Marvel fighting game that I really want to play called Marvel Tokon, which is like a Japanese fighting game spin on all of the Marvel characters with modern fighting game mechanics. So it throws out the old Capcom system. There's a lot of fighting games coming out or are out just recently, modern fighting games that use the control scheme of just light, medium, and hard hit, and then like a special button. So there's only 4 buttons because there's 4 buttons on your controller instead of the 6 buttons that a lot of old Japanese fighting games still use to this day. And then you got stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender has a really great fighting game. The League of Legends characters have a great fighting game that's coming out next year. There's a comic book / TV show called Invincible that has a fighting game that just came out that all use this system. So the Marvel is going to be the same system. So this is like the way to do it nowadays for fighting games.
I didn't realize there were so many fighting games.
A lot coming out this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I am, of course, mostly looking forward to Witchbrook, which was delayed from the end of 2026.
Right.
Or 2025, sorry. That's like all I really care about. You know, like if anything else comes out, that'll be great, but that's the one I'm like, I need it now.
Right.
What the heck, right?
You promised me Christmas.
I know. I am very interested in, where is it? Blood of the Dawnwalker, which is a new game made by a bunch of the people, not the same company, but a bunch of the people who made Witcher 3. And if you look up any, like the trailer or whatever, the UI is exactly the same. The menu is exactly the same as Witcher 3. And I am intrigued to see how that plays out. And it's kind of about a vampire who has to save his family, and you have an in-game deadline where I guess if you don't hit it,
die?
Yeah, I think so. And then, but
Nice.
the game continues. You can do other things afterwards.
Oh man,
the game doesn't just like say you failed.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if it's still like, if it like becomes a revenge game or what happens after that, or you know the two different possibilities there. I'm very interested to see how that plays out. I think there's a small chance we might actually get Haunted Chocolatier in 2026, which is the next game by the man who made Stardew Valley.
Oh, okay.
Which
this is a full-on game and not like a Stardew add-on or something. It's like a whole game.
No, it's a whole different game. Okay. And I think I like.
What a great name.
Haunted Chocolatier, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very excited for that one, obviously, and there's a chance it might happen in 2026. He has not given us any years. He has simply kind of said that he has finally hired other people to work on Stardew Valley updates, and instead of just doing them all mostly himself, so that he can, put more time into Haunted Chocolatier. But he's also said that he gets, he needs variety, or he just ends up making a bad game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. It might happen.
Indie developers, just like when the art happens, it happens. It's like we're not beholden to shareholders. It's like,
well, especially I feel like Concerned Ape, he's got this millions upon millions dollar like franchise with Stardew Valley. So
yeah,
he's not hurting for money. He doesn't need the money. He is good.
Make it the way you want it to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is what everybody wants.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got plenty of games to play. I'm not like, hurry up, dude. A part of me is, but like it's not that serious.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I would love it if the next Final Fantasy VII game came out, but it's not going to next year. I think it's probably going to be Christmas of the following year. It's probably going to be in 2027 at the earliest.
I mean, that doesn't seem too bad from the world of video games,
Absolutely not. Like, yeah. I think that's fabulous. Like, that's very soon, but
I think it's. Having said that,
but I would like that.
It's this weird thing, right? Like, because Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and 10 all came out in like under 5 years.
Yeah.
And I do kind of miss that type of gaming world where, things came out before you lost interest in them. But also I have to assume that people lived at the office, did not see their families, didn't know their children, were horrendously ill, and I don't want crunch culture, I want those people to have a life.
Yeah.
So it's I know other things were going on other than just like development, but like with Veilguard, Dragon Age Veilguard, so many of the people I know who loved Inquisition but who are more casual gamers just didn't care to pick it up because it had been too long. They remembered nothing and they didn't care anymore.
Right.
And there's got to be something in between taking 10 years to tell one story like Final Fantasy VII Remake plus whatever
is doing, yeah.
Versus killing yourself to make 4 high quality games in 5 years. Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about Square Enix's internal structure that are not appropriate for this podcast, but like they used to do a better. Part of the reason why they were able to do that back in the day is because they had a better structure. Is basically what it boils down to.
Right. Yeah, they had different teams on different games, and yeah.
They're run by people who got their degree in finance or business, and none of them who are in charge ever made a game in their lives. You know what I mean? And so like all their choices are based in stock go up, what stock choice, what bank do this, loan this, and they have no understanding of how to make games. And and that shows. But
yeah,
but yeah, I didn't mean to hijack your thing, but like that's fine. A thing that I would like to have happen, but I don't think that it will happen. So, or like an announcement of like, here's the next Final Fantasy. I mean, there's a world in which actually, I mean, like speaking of internal structure, that Square Enix could collapse in the next 4 years. Some people are predicting that. Based on some things that recently happened. So in terms of their stock and stuff like that. So, I would like for them to get this trilogy done, but it could be the last thing they ever do too. So I hope not, because I love that franchise. But
I hope not too. I think they have the possibility of doing some really good games. I like how they've been, doing their mainline big games, but also doing some smaller side games that are not as worried about pushing forward.
And that's where all the money is for them right now. Yeah. Octopath and the Dragon Quest remakes and stuff. Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how you get the best of both worlds. Sorry. The boast. Jeez. Um, like the people who want the new fresh thing, but also your nostalgic customers who've been with you since the 90s and enjoy that feel but want it modernized.
Yep.
So I think in some way they're kind of making smart decisions there, but I understand what you're saying too about.
Well, that's what you take another Japanese place like Capcom, that's what they're doing. Like they keep coming out with all these re-releases of arcade games like what I talked about and old fighting games and beat 'em ups and stuff. And then that all funds the new stuff that they like. Here's a new Monster Hunter this year, or here's a new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's a new Devil May Cry, and like that's how you do it. You have multiple departments making different games, and you synergize your releases so that each one of you is giving a boost to the other one, and always creating buzz and not tripping over each other. But yeah, they don't seem to get. Or you could do like Rockstar, like we said, and just never come out with a game, and just and just keep hyping your shit forever.
Oh. There are a couple other ones that I'd really like that don't have dates yet, like Wild Society. I'm obviously very excited for that. The prequel to Wildflowers. Grave Seasons looks really interesting. It's a farming sim with a serial killer.
Neat.
And each time you start a new save, it's a different person who is the serial killer, so you never know.
Oh, that's great.
And you could end up romancing the serial killer. I'm really into this. It sounds so much fun.
You would really want to hope that is what you do. That's how I would play it. I'd be like, I really hope it's the serial killer.
I want to do it all. I want to not do it. I want to do it. I want to play it like 5 times. And yeah, if it's good, if the gameplay's good and the loot is good and all that sort of thing. Grimshire looks super interesting. I think it's in early access right now, but I don't want to play the early access of it. I want it fully. And that's like with anthropomorphic animals, and you it's a farming sim but you play as like an animal but in overalls. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But something weird's going on. Maybe there's like a zombie plague in the cities, and so the little town you're in gets cut off and isolated, and you've got to like stock up the town stores. And if you don't, people are going to die of starvation. And there's carnivores and herbivores because you're animals, and it looks really interesting too. I like these. I like doing something different with the farming sim genre that these games are trying out.
Yeah, that's cool. What if Zootopia had a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and you're outside of Zootopia, and everybody's dead. Or I don't know if it just says deadly plague. I don't know if it's zombies, but the clips that I've seen of people playing the early access kind of seem like zombies. I don't know.
It's interesting.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to games in 2026. I want to play more like visual novel mysteries now that I've gotten into that genre. I want to do more of that.
Yeah, there's that. Like I said, the 1,000 Time Resist.
Yeah, I'm excited that just
good.
Kind of appeared in my Steam library for me. That was great.
Yeah, there's some games like Avowed that, or there's another one. I can't remember the name of it. It's something. Yeah, there was a game called South of Midnight that I really wanted to play this year.
Oh yeah. I've heard good things about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it won some awards and stuff. And as soon as I saw it, I wanted to play it. And I just never got around to it.
Yeah, the art style looks really interesting, and I've heard good things about the music.
Yeah, it's like set in Louisiana, and it's got all this like lore from there. And I lived there for like a decade, and it just looks cool. I just never got around to it.
It looks kind of stop motion-y, I think, and
a little bit, yeah.
I feel like more games should explore that because I think it lends itself well to video games.
Yeah.
Well, here's to all the great games we played in 2025, and hopefully to some more good ones in 2026.
Right. So we'll be talking about games that came out in 2020 next year.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. The Animal Crossing update is coming soon, and that game did indeed come out in 2020, and I will be playing the shit out of it.
Right.
And
it didn't make your top 5, though.
Well, I didn't feel right about that. Like, I don't know.
I was wondering. I was like, where is it?
No, So another one that didn't make my top 5 was I replayed Final Fantasy IX this year.
Okay.
But I did it with mods, and the mods really changed the gameplay experience. And that was great. I highly recommend anybody out there who does PC gaming, who's played Final Fantasy IX a million times. There's some really good mods out there that make the battles just play out differently. Like that just make, especially the boss battles, have them choose different moves. Jeez, I forgot English.
That's cool.
Have them choose different moves in different ways and give some of them different abilities and stuff. And just things that you thought you knew like the back of your hand, gone. And you got to kind of actually think about what you're doing in the battles.
Mm-hmm.
And I do highly recommend that. But again, I've played that game like 10 times and it didn't feel right putting it in my top 5. And Animal Crossing, I have over 1,000 hours in over the past 5 years. So it didn't feel right putting that in my top 5, you know?
It'd be a top 5 every year, yeah.
Yeah, I did new to me games on my...
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, let's wrap it up. You can follow the show on Blue Sky at Inferior Gaming, and if you want, you can follow me on Blue Sky at Inferior Caitlin.
You can send emails to inferiorgamingpod@gmail.com, or you can go to the homepage of the podcast at hollowgroundmedia.com and scroll down to the bottom and fill out the feedback form.
And remember to give us a rate and review on wherever you're listening to us. Just because we've never asked before. And I thought in our last episode of 2025, I would do it.
There you go.
Happy New Year, everyone.